Hope the screen is visible to you all. Is the screen visible to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So before we start up with today's session, let's discuss the numerical examples which we have already solved in the previous session. In the previous session, we have solved for the numerical examples on column which is axially loaded. That means we have not considered the whether uniaxial moment or the biaxial moment for the column. So we are designing for the axially loaded column, or we can say it as concentrically loaded column. And in that, given the size of the column as well as the reinforcement, longitudinal reinforcement, we have calculated the load carrying capacity of the column, that is the value of P, using this equation, that is Pu is equal to 0.4 FCK into AC plus 0.67 Fy into ASC. So using that equation, we have found out the load acting on the column. And if load acting on the column was given to us, we know how to calculate the amount of steel now by assuming the percentage of steel as 1%. By assuming percentage of steel as 1%, we can calculate the amount of steel required also, as well as the gross area. Depending upon that gross area, we can find out the dimensions of the column, whether it is rectangular column or circular column. In the previous session, we had designed for a square column for the details given here, that is working load of 980 kilonewton, grade of concrete as M20, and that of steel as Fe415. Now today let's discuss how to design a circular column. How to design a circular column. The initial steps, that is the assumption of the percentage of longitudinal steel, that is ASC, that is 1%. It remains same for the circular column also as well as the square column also. Along with that, what we are going to do here, after once we calculate the gross area, till the calculation of gross area, there won't be any difference between design of a square column or the circular column. Only the difference which you find is in calculation of the dimensions, length and breadth of the column section. So if it is a square column, what we can say that the breadth and the depth, B and D values, they are equal, and we can just take the square root of the gross area. But if we have a circular column, what we can write is this gross area is equal to area of the circle. So here we can write it as pi by 4 into d square, that is area of the circle, is equal to the gross area. So here gross area is already calculated, and now we can find out the diameter of the circular section or circular column. So the diameter comes out around 418.2 mm. So we can round it off to 420 mm. So the diameter of the circular column, it is 420 mm. And this 420 mm diameter should satisfy the condition of minimum eccentricity. It should satisfy the condition of minimum eccentricity. And that minimum eccentricity is nothing but 20 mm. It is 20 mm. So what we can write it as, provide 7 bars of 16 mm diameter. Provide 7 bars of 16 mm diameter. So how do we calculate that 7 bars of 16 mm diameter? It is again dependent on the gross area, and 1% of the gross area we are considering it to be ASC, that is amount of steel reinforcement. Amount of steel reinforcement, that is in the longitudinal direction. So using that we can find out 7 bars of 16 mm diameter. Next, if we are providing 7 bars of 16 mm diameter, what is the longitudinal steel provided? It is 1407 mm square. That is 7 times pi by 4 into 16 square. That comes out to be 1407 mm square. And Now coming on to the transfer steel, that is lateral ties. Now we have designed for the longitudinal steel as we have done in the square column. So now we need to design the lateral ties. And the diameter of the tie, as already discussed, it should not be more than, or it should not be less than 1/4 of the diameter of main steel. Diameter of main steel is 16 mm now. So 16 by 4, 4 mm or 6 mm, whichever is greater. Whichever is greater. So the diameter what you consider should consider the maximum diameter out of the two values, that is diameter of the tie 1/4 of the main steel as well as 6 mm, whichever is greater that we need to consider. So out of 4 mm and 6 mm we consider it to be 6 mm. So what we can write is provide 6 mm lateral ties. And now we need to consider the spacing. This spacing should again depend on three different criteria. One is 300 mm, one more is 16 times the diameter of the main steel, 16 times the diameter of main steel, and the next one is least lateral dimension. Here in case of circular column, least lateral dimension is the diameter of the circle itself. If it was a square, then one of the dimension you can consider. If it was a rectangle, the value which is least, the smallest value you could have considered. So for the circular column, the diameter itself will be the least lateral dimension. So out of 3, that is 300 mm, 256 mm and 420 mm, we can consider 256 as the value. So we are going to round it off to, that is 250 mm center to center. Provide 6 mm diameter lateral ties at a spacing of 250 mm center to center. So is this clear? Design of circular column. Hello? Is this clear? Nitin? Nitin? Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now let's proceed with the next example, that is design a rectangular column. Here we can see, now we have designed a square column, we have designed a circular column. Now we need to design a rectangular column.
Ma'am, screen not visible.
Yes?
Screen not visible, ma'am.
Screen is not visible. Is this visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Design a rectangular column to carry an ultimate load of 2500 kilonewton. The unsupported length of the column is 3 meter. The ends of the column are effectively held in position and also restrained against rotation. The grade of concrete and steel are M20 and Fe415 respectively. So you are supposed to design a rectangular column. That means you need to find out the cross-sectional dimensions of the column. And ultimate load is given, that is 2500 kilonewton. So make sure that PU value is given. Remember, PU value is given, not P, because already it is being stated like it is ultimate load. So it is PU value. You need not multiply factor of safety once again to this value. So PU value is given. Unsupported length of the column is 3 meter. Unsupported length of the column is 3 meter. And the ends of the column are effectively held in position and restrained against rotation. And the grade of concrete and steel are M20 and Fe415. So with this given data, first we shall calculate the cross-sectional dimensions. So again we are going to use the same equation in order to calculate the cross-sectional dimension, because here what we are going to calculate is area of concrete. Area of concrete. We can calculate the area of concrete in relation with the gross area. That means first what we can do, we can assume the percentage of steel. We can assume the percentage of steel as 1%. 1% of the gross area is the steel. So ASC is 1% of gross area, that is 1 divided by 100 into Ag. So it turns out to be 0.01 Ag. So now ASC is 0.01 Ag. We know that area of concrete is equal to gross area minus the area of steel. And this area of steel already we have found it out as 0.01 Ag. So Ag minus 0.01 Ag, it will give us 0.99 Ag. That is, area of concrete is 99% of gross area. Area of concrete is 99% of gross area. Gross area, that is 0.99 into Ag. Now let me substitute that AC as 0.99 Ag in terms of this equation. So I'll be getting the value of gross area. This value of gross area turns out to be 233,645 mm square. 233.645 into 10 to the power of 3 mm square. And here it is being shown that it is a rectangular column. It is a rectangular column. So if it is a rectangular column, then we can say that length and breadth, or B and D value, they are not equal. B and D, they are not equal. But how to decide this B value and D value? How much it should be? So that is, for initially let's consider it to be a square column. Let's consider it to be a square column. If it is a square column, what we can write is B is equal to D, that is equal to square root of gross area. So that turns out to be 483 mm. That turns out to be 483 mm. So we can provide a rectangular column of size. One dimension we can take lesser than this, the other dimension we can take higher than this. So here we have considered it to be approximately 425 by 550 mm. We have considered it as 425 by 550 mm. So if it is 425 by 550 mm, is this gross area satisfying the gross area which is required? So let me check that. In order to check that, we are going to multiply these two values. So if we multiply, it comes to be 333,750 mm square, and this value provided is more than the value which is been required, that is gross value required. So this is how we need to calculate the dimensions for the rectangular column. And here even you can change the values. It is not like you need to consider 425 by 550 only. You can consider it to be 400 by 600, or else 450 by 525 and so on. So once you are done with this, area of steel we can proceed with. That is, previously now we have assumed area of steel as 1% of the gross area. That 1% if we consider, it turns out to be 2336 mm square. 2336 mm square. So we can provide 8 bars of 20 mm diameter. We can provide 8 bars of 20 mm diameter. If we are providing 8 bars of 20 mm diameter, then steel provided would be 6 into pi by 4 into d square. That d is nothing but 20, that is diameter of the bar. So 314, it is around 314. So it turns out to be 2512 mm square. Now, once we are done with the longitudinal reinforcement, next we need to consider the lateral design or lateral steel. Before we start with the lateral ties, let me check for the slenderness ratio. Let me check it for the slenderness ratio, that is shortness. And it is being given that the ends are fixed. It is being given that ends are fixed. The ends of the column are effectively held in position and also restrained against rotation. They are held in position and also restrained against rotation. So if they are restrained against rotation, let me go to table 28 of IS 456. Here, effectively held in position and restrained against rotation at both the ends. That means they are held in position as well as they are restrained against rotation. So what is the recommended value of effective length? It is 0.65 times the length. 0.65 times the length. So if it is 0.65 times the length, so let me calculate the L effective value. L effective in x direction as well as in y direction. It would be same. So 0.65 times L, 0.65 into 3000 mm, it turns out to be 1950 mm or 1.95 meter. So once we are done with this check, depending upon the type of column, we can find out what is the value of effective length. That is recommended value of effective length we can find out, and we can substitute in the equation Lex by D and Ley by B. So if it is Lex by D, then Lex divided by 550. So it turns out to be less than 12. It is less than 12. And even Ley by B is less than 12. So even if they are both less than 12, we can say that, or we can assume it to be a short column. We can assume this to be a short column by calculating Lex by D and Ley by B value. And if they are less than 12, we can consider it to be a short column. And next thing is to check for the minimum eccentricity. So in order to check for the minimum eccentricity, we'll be considering both the directions. Once in the longer direction, once in the shorter direction. And if it was a circular column, you could have considered it to be only one direction, because whatever the direction you consider, you are going to get the same diameter. But if it is a rectangular column, then you need to consider both the direction, that is longer direction as well as shorter direction. In the longer direction, E minimum, that is minimum eccentricity in x direction, is equal to Lex divided by 500 plus D divided by 30. L by 500 plus D by 30. So this turns out to be 24.22. Now we need to check whether this value is less than 20 mm or no? Less than 20 mm or no? If it is more than 20 mm, or we need to compare 20 mm and 24.22 mm. 20 mm and 24.22 mm. Out of these two, whichever is the maximum value that we need to consider. Whichever is the maximum value that we need to consider for the further calculation. That is, the eccentricity minimum in x direction is equal to 24.22. Now we need to check whether this value, this maximum value is less than 0.05 times the d or no. 0.05 times d or no. So 0.05 times d refers to 27.5, and this minimum eccentricity in x direction is less than 0.05 times the d. Hence we can proceed with the further design. If this value, that is minimum eccentricity in x direction, was greater than 0.05 times d, then you could have gone for the redesign of section. You could have gone for the redesign of the section. Next, in the direction of shorter span, the minimum eccentricity in y direction is equal to Lu by divided by Ley by 500 plus B by 30. So that is nothing but L effective in y direction by divided by 500 plus B divided by 30. That is 3000 divided by 500 plus 425 divided by 30. So if you are done with this, then it comes out to be 20.14 mm. It comes out to be 20.14 mm. So this 20.14 or 17 mm is less than or greater than 20 mm. So it is more than 20 mm. So what we can consider is the maximum value, that is 20.17 itself. So E minimum in x direction is 20.17. Now we need to check whether this value is less than 0.05 times the breadth or no. Less than 0.05 times B or no. Here we have considered D because we need to consider in x direction. Here we are considering the y direction, so we are going to consider the value of B. So 0.05 times B, it turns out to be 21.25. If it is 21.25, we can compare the two values and we can say that the value minimum eccentricity in y direction is less than the 0.05 times the breadth. Hence, even this condition is being satisfied. We can proceed with the further design. And in the further design, that is design of transverse steel, that is nothing but the lateral ties. Design of lateral tie. In the design of lateral tie, what we can do is the diameter of the tie, that is 1/4 of the diameter of main steel. Here main steel diameter, what we have assumed? We have assumed it to be 20 mm diameter. So 1/4 of 20 mm, that is 5 mm, and we need to consider 6 mm. Out of these two values, whichever is maximum, that value we can consider for the diameter. That is, provide 6 mm diameter lateral ties, or we can consider it to be 8 mm depending upon the structure. And the spacing between the lateral ties now. Spacing between the lateral ties. If you need to calculate the spacing between ties, then we need to consider three parameters, that is 300 mm and 16 times the longitudinal bars, that is diameter of the longitudinal steel, and least lateral dimension, that is out of the two values of 425 and 550, we are going to consider the least lateral dimension, that is 425 mm. So what we can write is provide 6 mm or 8 mm lateral ties at a distance of 300 mm center to center. So this is how you need to proceed with the design. Initially in the design they were giving you directly, that is the column short. Now henceforth you are supposed to calculate whether the column is short or slender. That is, depending upon the different direction you can find out the value, and later you can just cross verify. Now take down this example. Design a circular column with the ties to carry an ultimate load of 2500 kilonewton. The unsupported length of the column is 3 meter. The ends of the column are effectively held in position but not against rotation. The ends of the column are effectively held in position but not against rotation. The grade of concrete and the steel are M20 and Fe415. They are M20 and Fe415. So for this, as already in the previous example we have solved, we need to consider the area of concrete as Ag minus ASC, that is gross area minus the steel area. So if we consider that, we are going to proceed with the same value or the same equations, then we'll find out the gross area. Once we find out the gross area, what we are going to do? We are going to equate it to area, gross area, and calculate the diameter, that is pi by 4 into d square. So we'll be calculating the diameter, and then area of steel will be found out. Once area of steel is been found out, we can find out the diameter of the bar and the number of bar. Please remember, the longitudinal steel diameter in case of column should not be less than 12 mm. In the design of columns, the longitudinal steel value or the diameter of the longitudinal steel should not be less than 12 mm. So here next thing is we are going to check for the shortness as well as minimum eccentricity. For that we need effective length. Here the unsupported length of the column is 3 meter and the ends of the column are effectively held in position but not against rotation. The ends of the column are effectively held in position at both ends but not restrained against rotation. So here we are going to consider the effective span. The recommended value of effective length as 1 times the length, 1L. So considering that 1L, we can find out the slenderness ratio as well as minimum eccentricity, and later we can go ahead with the design of lateral ties. So if we are designing lateral ties, you are going to apply the same method as you have done in the previous 2-3 examples. So this is how you are supposed to solve for design of axially loaded column. So in the next session, we are going to start with design of axially loaded as well as uniaxial bending column, and we are going to solve numerical examples on that, and make sure that you all have a copy of SP16 with you. So are there any difficulties? Are there any difficulties? Are there any difficulties? Raju Yergatti,
Yes, ma'am.
are there any difficulties?
No, ma'am.
So keep on solving the numericals as and when they are being taught in the class, and if you have any doubts, you make note of it and you can ask me later. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you.
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ PDF ಸೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು.
Yes, I'll be sending the PDF once I complete the entire module. Today I'll be sending the PDF for slabs and stairs.